Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the morning show, live show we do every morning, every weekday morning at 10:30 Eastern time. Today is Friday, September 8th, and NFL season has started. MLB is. Let's quickly get to the. Yes, Jensen Bonzone says, so as I was saying yesterday, why are the Pats favored by that much? And I was mocked for even questioning it. Apology accepted, y'all. Jensen Bonzone, I wound up doing my research on that game, and I did wind up giving the Chiefs as an official pick, and I tweeted it out. About half an hour before kickoff. Yeah, let's quickly get to that because one of the things in football season, of course, it's just there's a time crunch on everything. So I do as much as I can, as quickly as I can, but I'm not going to have everything ready for these shows. Matty Ice, did you see what I did yesterday?
What? Tell me.
I wound up having a pretty strong opinion on the Chiefs-Pats game, and I wound up tweeting it out as an official pick and giving in the contest.
And what was it?
Come on. What do you think it was? What the fuck do you think it was? Oh, come on.
What?
Of course. It was the Chiefs. It was the Chiefs plus some points. Yeah. I gave it in the contest as well. There were a bunch of reasons for that. But the main thing that I want to communicate is that because, of when I do all the shows, I can't just be giving out irresponsible picks willy-nilly. So I'm not going to have all the plays that I'm on that I'm liking ready when I'm doing the shows. So, those plays are all going to be tweeted out, and anything I tweet out, of course, will go on my official permanent record. In my entire life, I will never delete any tweet, and that is a promise. Even if I go on a racist alt-right meltdown on Twitter, I will still not even delete that. That would be cool. A career-ending alt-right, racist, sexist, homophobic Twitter meltdown. I won't even tweet that if that happens. No, that won't happen. I'm kidding around.
By the way, guys, you notice that shirt Pete's got on?
Yeah, well, it's party time.
Amazing.
It's party time. So the point is that a lot of in baseball, of course, most of my picks come on the morning show because I prepare the night before and everything's good. But for football, a lot of my picks are going to be I'm going to have to tweet them out because I'm not going to know if I'm not going to be sure that I want to give them out as an official pick or bet them. I'm not going to give out anything in the show that I haven't bet myself. And I'm not going to give out anything that I'm not sure I want to add to my record because rightly so, people should be held accountable for their records. And so I have to be careful. So the Chiefs game last night was a classic example. I gave it a once-over early in the week. I knew that the lines weren't going to move, so I knew that I'd have to make a decision immediately. And, I looked into it later on, closer to kickoff, looked at the line, looked at a lot of things I looked at, and started to realize that I was liking the Chiefs more and more and more. And then I realized I liked them a lot. And then I realized I liked them enough that I was going to tweet it out as an official pick, add it to my record, and pick it in the Jimmy the Bag contest, which I'll tell you what, Marty Ice, that's going to be a tough contest because I'm looking at it like there were like hundreds of people who had the Chiefs last night. And, so like 50 of them had them as a 3-point play. So it's going to be a tough contest, but I did add it to the contest. All right, now.
Jensen's already out of our survivor pool. Bet I know who you picked.
Yeah.
I took your advice. I took the Bills.
You know what? Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Great. So a couple of other things.
So we know who to blame.
First of all, Marty Ice, one thing that we talked about yesterday was we were like, you know what? Your MMA picks have been pretty good this year, haven't they?
Yes.
And I went back and I did figure out what my overall record was in 2017 MMA official picks, which I do with Andreas Hale. The official MMA record for 2017 in my picks is 22-10 for an average line of -103. That's plus 15.5 units, ROI of plus 35%. That's a small sample size. It is a year-long sample size, but it's been as good, actually better than we thought. In 2017, yes. What?
That's not a small sample size.
Yeah, 32 MMA picks, 22-10, average line -103, units plus 15.5 because a bunch of those were underdogs, and ROI plus 35%. So that is very, very good.
Now, do you have them broken down as per? Because I'm curious what the biggest underdog you hit was.
The biggest underdog, they weren't that big. They were just a bunch of like +2 whatevers. I actually, my biggest underdog of the entire year will be going in UFC 215, which I broke down with Andreas Hale yesterday, which hasn't gotten produced yet, which they better put up because we had some great analysis on that one.
Wait,
I'm
are you betting against Mighty Mouse?
Well, no, because that fight was canceled, so I'm worried that they won't put it up. But we broke down all the other fights.
Wait, the Johnson fight got canceled?
Yeah.
When? Last night?
Yeah, last night. So
what happened?
I didn't even look at it. I just like, all right, canceled, fine. But
oh, that's awful.
But yeah, we did produce that. I mean, we did shoot it. I hope it gets produced, despite the fact that the Mighty Mouse fight has been canceled. Because I did have a bunch of picks in it. Andreas Hale liked Mighty Mouse inside the distance. I didn't have a pick on that one, but I did have 4 picks, and they're all picks that I like a little bit, but not necessarily great. Like the Rashad Evans fight going the distance. I love that one, stuff like that. My picks on that one were the Nunez Shevchenko fight over 2.5 rounds at -135. The Magny, I like the Magny fight going the distance at -215, and Magny to win by decision +271, which might be playing a little bit cute because Magny could get a stoppage, and just for him to win is like +165. But I went with by decision at +270, and I also took Stevens inside the distance at +400. That also might be getting a little bit cute because that one could go the distance as well. It's just a 3-round fight. I kind of like Stevens at -110 as well, but I decided to take him inside the distance in case, I mean, just because I thought there was a lot more value just with that line. Although it's, if Stevens wins by decision, I'll be annoyed. If Magny wins inside the distance, I'll be annoyed that I tried to get too cute with it. But yeah, so those are my 4 picks in the video. Then the 4th pick was the other one, the other fight on the main card. The names are flipping me. Over 1.5 rounds at +110. So those are my 4 picks. Hopefully that video they'll produce it, right? I mean, our analysis of the Mighty Mouse fight was interesting anyway.
Sure, it came out like an hour ago.
Okay, good. And it was interesting because we also covered the first Nunez Shevchenko fight before that one was canceled, and just looking at how we broke that one down was interesting to review. So our analysis, Andreas had a great breakdown of the Mighty Mouse fight, and it's just interesting to have that one up there to see how people were thinking before the fight went off. The Nunez fight is very interesting because Nunez, of course, was a favorite, was a small favorite before she pulled out of the last fight, and now last time I checked, she's an underdog, which is kind of weird.
I thought
yeah.
the same.
Now the one piece of advice, there was someone yesterday who said they liked Nunez at +110. Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay, here's
no, Guan pointed it out.
Okay,
that was a good line though.
To everyone, if you're gonna bet Nunez, take her inside the distance at +180. There is no way in hell. I mean, not no way in hell, but it's highly unlikely that if the fight goes a distance that Nunez wins, and it's highly unlikely that if Nunez wins, it's that the fight goes a distance. Much more value with Nunez inside the distance. Obviously, she's a finisher. She has cardio issues. So if you're thinking Nunez has value at +110, I think there's much more value on Nunez inside the distance at +180. I think that the fight is likely to go over. So that was one of my picks, over 2.5 rounds, -135. Obviously, Nunez could end it in the first round, and obviously, Nunez could get gassed and take an ending early. But I think that, the first fight they fought was 3 rounds, went the distance. And I think that that is probably going to be, I mean, Shevchenko is awesome.
She is. I mean, they're both awesome.
Ooh, I was looking at her. She's just like a freaking.
I let her beat me up.
I mean, she looks like a superhero in a movie, the way she acts and shit, like the way she moves and stuff. I mean, she just looks like so slick. But Nunez, of course, is vicious. So the question is Nunez going to be able to get an early knockout? My sense is probably not, because Shevchenko is going to be so careful of that and aware of it, So my sense is that's why I like the over. I think Shevchenko is going to try to push it to the later rounds, because she knows that's where she has an advantage. And Nunez might be willing to do that as well, hoping to not get gassed and sort of like take it easy in the first couple. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out, but I'm going to be on the over 2.5 at -135, and then Magny by decision. Stevens inside the distance, and Magny going to the distance, which -215.
So it's kind of, just before you get off this,
yeah.
I was kind of interesting. So I just pulled up an article about this, and it seems Borg is sick, right?
He's
right. So this is kind of funny the way it comes full circle, because the last fight at 213 or whatever, Nunez got sick.
It's amazing. It's like
Dana White got pissed off, said she would never main event again. Now tomorrow night she's the main event because Borg pulled out within 14, 16 hours of the fight.
There you go.
I wonder what Dana White's going to say about that.
Karma. Seems like a lot of people. It's like these guys are like regular employees. Like, I mean, if you're a boss and one of your employees calls up and says, "Oh, I'm sick," it's like a 99.5% chance that they're not really sick. But these people are like using that excuse, right?
I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know. They said he'd been sick for a week. Like, so what do you got?
With what? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's going on?
What?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. No, maybe he is sick. Listen, maybe he is.
Whatever.
Sick.
I don't know. I'd still try it.
But so anyway, those are my picks for MMA. And again, doing well in MMA for quite a while now. And again, this year 22-10, plus 15.5 units, plus 35.3% ROI. So that's that. Now let's
before we get into that, I got to do my little thing over here.
That's right. That's right.
Shout out to our friends at Intertops too. And then as of yesterday, we have some awesome promo codes for you guys. You know, obviously football season started last night. What a hell of a way to start. But you know, always good time to get a new book before we get really into the thick of things. So Intertops is offering 2 codes for us. LOSHAKFIRST is the first one, 100% up to $500 on the first deposit, and Reloaded 50% up on $200 reload bonus. Those are pretty self-explanatory, but I will be adding more details in the description of the video afterwards. Go check them out. I'll have all the links and all the requirements for you guys.
And again, with these promo codes, I'm sure that money is going in. Some money is going to some pocket somewhere, but no money is going into my pockets. That I can guarantee you. So just to throw that out there. Let's see. All right. So yes, the promo codes, but you should definitely take advantage of it because I guess if people use it, that will give me some very solid ammunition next time I'm up for being fired, and I'll just be like, well, we did put out these promo codes and all these people signed up, so you might want to take a look at that, and then the higher ups will be like, oh, yes, we do see that. Not bad. Not bad. So, yeah, you should definitely use those promo codes. And definitely, in general, there's a lot of promos that books like to throw out at this time of year. So look for one of those because those usually have much better deal or significantly somewhat better deals than the just general bonuses that books offer to everyone. All right. So, yeah, let's see. And they got Drew with a Bet Online one. And Bet Online is a bigger book. So Drew's going to get more signups. And then they're going to be like, well, Drew got more signups than you. And I was like, all
right, so baseball.
All right. So let's see. All right. Okay. Baseball here. All right. First of all, yesterday I actually went 0-0. Obviously, the Mets game was a push. For anyone who tailed, I did give the White Sox first 5 innings team total under, and Kluber did start, but the way team totals go is if there is a pitching change, team totals get canceled, right? So there was a pitching change for the White Sox. So the pick in the video was with Rodon starting, and anyone who bet it, which I did, if you bet that one, you will see that even though Kluber started and even though the White Sox, we faced the White Sox, the team total bets were pushed. And if it had won, it also would have been canceled. So so yesterday I got bailed out on that one with the pitching change. So I had no plays yesterday. One play was a push. And looking on today's card, there are some things that I'm seeing again. And one possible candidate for a low-hanging fruit, Jarrell Cotton is making a start for Oakland, and he has definitely been having issues. He has a great changeup and nothing else. Now, you need more than that to succeed in the major leagues. Cotton does have good starts sometimes, though, right? Sometimes, let's see. All right. Jarrell Cotton, is not terrible. Marty, guys, what do you do? Are you listening to me, or are you? Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to ask your opinion today, but yeah. So
Jarrell Cotton. All right, I'm a little out of that mood, but okay.
Well, so Jarrell Cotton, yeah, it's interesting. He has great upside, great potential, one great pitch, but he is obviously not ready for prime time. And Houston really picking it up offensively. They added Maben, which is another bat, and they got Correa back. So Houston is looking great. Jarrell Cotton looking very, very vulnerable. And it would not be a surprise, a huge shock if Jarrell Cotton comes in here and has a shutout start, 6 innings or whatever. But I'm thinking that the Houston, in all ways, on the first 5 innings, team total overs and everything, should have good value because McHugh, of course, since he came back, he has been excellent, right? You love this shirt, right, Marty? You love it.
McHugh actually a lot too.
Yes, McHugh is great. He's been getting great results. And something wrong? Are you okay? Is there a problem? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We get also huge big up and respect to Marty Ice for putting together those highlight clips of these shows every day. I think that's a great idea, and I think people are really going to like it, and it'll preserve some of the comedy, some of the jokes that happen in this show long term. It's a shame that we weren't doing that when Wang Zhou was in his prime.
It would have been too long.
That would have been, yeah, it would have been. But that would have been great if we could have some Wang Joe clips to go back and look at. But anyway, getting back to baseball again. So the Houston first 5 innings over is 2.5 minus 118. And as we saw yesterday, the difference in these first 5 inning team total between 1.5, 2, and 2.5 is huge, right? Matt Harvey did struggle early, but Cincinnati only put up 2 runs, and if that had been 2.5, would have been a loser. Same deal with the Clayton. With the Kluber one. You know, at 1.5, it was a loser, even though you got to push if Rodon was if you bet it when Rodon was scratched. But even at 2.5, I have to give it here. It counts as low-hanging fruit. Cotton is so vulnerable. The Astros have such a great lineup, and at some point, Cotton figures to give up some runs. Now, this one does have going to land on 2 written all over it, but it's just 2.5 minus 118. So I'll give that one. Houston Astros first 5 innings team total over 2.5 minus 118. That's a definite pick. And this is another, you know, Marty, guys, this week has not been that bad overall. It's just my units are a little bit more down than they should have been because I doubled and tripled and quadrupled up on some plays where I got burned, you know. Like the Bartolo Colon day, I got burned on that one. Then there was another one, and I'm tempted to do it again here to like quadruple up here because I just.
Hey, didn't you go on the Mets Phillies game or something?
I'm trying to remember. Maybe. No, it was the Bartolo Colon one, and then there was an over in the White Sox game where I tripled up and I should have only doubled up. But I'm liking everything here, Marty. So I'm liking Houston on the first 5 innings. Houston -1. They're just so powerful. We know that Oakland isn't that great, and Houston just has they have such a big pitching advantage on paper and in real life. I mean, McHugh is definitely, you know, a reliable 6-inning starter right now, and Cotton once in a while has a good start, but more often than not struggles. So I don't want to get burned again, but I really want to go on Houston 2 or 3 ways here. The first 5 innings, just the first 5. I don't do a lot of first 5 innings plays for various reasons, but this one looks just McHugh against Cotton and a big lineup edge. Now the line is very high. Houston is minus 165 if you want to take the Houston line.
That's still reasonable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably still value.
That's a value still.
Although yes. we remember this week, the last time I took a first 5 innings road favorite of that line bit me massively badly in the ass with Jake Arrieta taking that on the Cubs. So I think Houston also has a good bullpen. I think I'm just going to make Houston -1 my second pick on this one, which is not a big line. It's going to wind up being, you know, around -130 or so. The money line part of this will be at betonlinesportsbetting.ag -158. You wager in Pinnacle at -159. And the run line part of this one will be Intertops has +100, but I will take the Pinnacle line at +103. So that's a very modest road favorite line there for Houston -1. So I'll take that one. The Houston first 5 innings team total over 2.5 -118 at Pinnacle, and Houston -1. I'll double up on it, but I'll tell you what. Even if Gerald Cotton does out of nowhere have a strong 5-inning start, and he does hold Houston to 2 or fewer, Houston could easily cash the -1 line later on in the game, you know? I mean, they just have such an edge here. So I'll take those 2. I'll hold up on the first 5 innings. Just stick with those 2, I guess. Houston first 5 innings, team total over 2.5, and Houston -1. I think those are both pretty solid plays. All right. Next thing let's talk about. My God. Let's talk. You know what I'm going to bring up now, right, Marty Ice? The LA Dodgers. My God. Even with Kershaw starting, they can't pull out a win. That is one team in a major, major funk. Now, I'm ahead of the curve on a lot of these sports betting trends, and that one, intellectually, I saw it coming. But the Dodgers losing streak right now, I have not bet against them in one of those games. I have not been able to take advantage because on any given day, it's just so scary. But today's probably the day that they win because on paper it's looking pretty. You know, Colorado. Darvish has been struggling. Darvish started off with a couple good starts for LA, but then recently he has not been that great. Once again, the Dodgers are a massive favorite here, -200. And once again, intellectually, now I'm speaking only intellectually here, I'm thinking that the Rockies are a great play. But did I bet it yet? No. Am I going to? I don't know.
Well, let me know if you don't, because then I will.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally forgot that you Darvish.
Yeah,
Dodgers.
And his first couple starts were good, but recently he's been slumping out. And this is just a team that just doesn't have it. They're just looking lethargic. Marquez on the other side, coming off a nice start. He had a bunch of strikeouts in his last start. He could get hit, but he looks okay. It just looks, once again, here you go. The Dodgers have, like 7 in a row and like 11 out of 12 or something ridiculous. Most of them as a huge favorite. Here they are again, -200 with the starting pitcher who hasn't been lights out. And, you know, I just have to make note of that because it's very, very tempting to take it. I'll make a decision on that. It's just, this is one of those situations where, you know, the first day that I finally pull the trigger is the day that they'll win, you know?
Well, could be.
Yeah, but then again, you know, that's the thing about taking these big underdogs. Even if Colorado loses, okay, so he loses to plus 180 underdog. Not a big deal.
No,
you know?
that doesn't hurt too bad.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Losing the minus 180 on the Astros, that would hurt.
Yes, that is it. But I'm not taking it. I'm taking Houston -1, which is just going to be a minus, you know, 130 or so, minus 125 line there. Okay, another bet that I did make on the overnight. This is a total, and this one is a little bit iffy, but I think I like it, and it's a little bit interesting, but I think I like it. And it's the over in Tampa Bay, Boston. Now, Chris Archer has not done well against Boston in general, and he's coming off a weird start where he only made 8 pitches, has some quote-unquote tightness in his forearm. He's a guy who might want to call in sick today because he's looking like he might be in for a tough start here. He's coming off a weird injury, says he's okay. And then the other side, Pomeranz, also a guy who's had a great season, a guy who in general I'm high on, but has started to slump a little bit recently, had some control issues. And obviously the names are the reason why this total is so low at just 8.5. But I did bet that one on the overnight line, and I will give it that. Wow, it's at Pinnacle, it's actually plus money now. So money has come in on the under, which I'm not. I mean, obviously I understand it. If Pomeranz bounces back to his former form, and Archer is fine, especially with the extra rest, and this one could easily go under. Heritage actually has 8 minus 120. All right, I'm probably going to give that one as a pick. I just need to think about it, stew on it a little bit. That's one. I bet it on the overnight line, Tampa Bay, Boston. I got a bad line. I took minus 118 or something like that. Now it's you know, even money or plus money at Pinnacle. It's understandable why. It's just both Archer and Pomeranz appear to my eye to have some issues coming into this game. Let's see what else is interesting. Oh yeah, all right. Here's another one that I bet on the overnight line. And it is the White Sox. Now they're going up against San Francisco. It's Giolito against Moore, and I got a great line on that one on the overnight. And I also took it in the baseball contest, minus 110. It's now all the way up to into the minus 120s. Giolito is a guy with obviously very highly touted, a high ceiling, but he didn't get great results in the minors this year. They brought him up anyway, and he's actually starting to pitch well in the majors. So it's one of these weird situations where you have a guy with bad minor league numbers, but a great reputation, and has actually been better in the majors than he was in the minors. And it might be that he's just putting it all together right now, which I think might be the case. Obviously, he gets a relatively easy assignment here against San Francisco and Moore, and it was the line. And when I bet that one, I was saying to myself, you know, if this was in the minus 140s, I wouldn't touch it. But at minus 110, I have to, and I was all excited to come into the show today and give it. Now it's in the minus 120s. I think I'm still going to give it, though, although obviously I prefer to be getting the line that I bet it on the overnight line. And I will give it White Sox -1. The money line part of that is going to be minus, let's see, what's the best line here? Minus 125 at betonlinesportsbetting.ag. The run line part of that will be plus 160. Plus 160. 5 dimes has 165, but I'm not going to use 5 dimes lines. I'll use plus 160 from a bunch of places. Intertops with plus 160 and a few others as well. So the White Sox -1 at decent plus money is definitely a play. More on the other side, obviously very, very vulnerable. So you're getting a youngster with some high upside coming off a great start, going up against you know, a clearly subpar starting pitcher. And you're getting, you know, as many negatives as the White Sox might have in the bullpen and in their lineup. They're 8 more negative than San Francisco. So
no, not possible.
Nice, right, Matt? Right, Marty? Ice sounds good, right? The White Sox. What do you think? Sounds good, right?
White Sox.
My breakdown?
I mean, in theory, not so much, but
my breakdown
from what you said,
yeah,
it sounds good.
And I would also be leaning White Sox on the first 5 just for Giolito to have a good start, but that would be doubling up, and you know that's minus 130. So maybe I'll hold off on that one. And also thinking about just once again the White Sox just to hit Matt Moore, and let's see what the team total is here on the first 5 innings on that one. Where the hell is that one? Come on, where is that one? Matt Moore. Giolito, 2.5 minus 107. So yeah, that's a lean. I might wind up throwing that one on later on. You know, Moore is probably going to be vulnerable. The White Sox should be able to hit him. And let me just check one other quick thing here in the White Sox game. Yeah, that's it.
That's exactly what I was thinking,
What?
Michael commented to you, Pete. That's what makes you a pro. I can't bet on the White Sox.
Yes.
So that was what I was trying to express to you.
Yes. And this is the anecdote that I told a few days ago when I was when I just joined SBR. There was a guy who routinely killed MLB year in and year out and was a professional doing it. That's how he made his money, and it was just MLB. He had a model, and he said that half the games and bets that his model told him to take, he had to like force himself to do because he just couldn't stomach that was a side with value. But again, he was successful. This was 10 years ago, but he was successful many years in a row. And a lot of these. And again, I'm sure that his model has been telling him to fade the Dodgers every game in their losing streak right now. And that's actually why I'm only a semi-pro, because I can spot spots to take the White Sox, but I can't bring myself to bet against the Dodgers, even when I know intellectually it's the right thing to do. And everyone knows that I know that because I've been saying it in these videos. I just have not been able to pull the trigger. And tonight, will I be able to pull the trigger? I don't know. I don't know. It's so tough. I'm only semi-pro, Michael. Yes, I am pro enough to take the White Sox. Not pro enough though to fade yet the Dodgers with Yu Darvish tonight. But the San Francisco team total under 4.5 on the full game. Also looking a little bit tempting, but as of right now, I will just stick with the White Sox -1. So far, I've given what? 4. I've given. Yeah, only 3 picks, actually. I've given the White Sox -1, Houston -1, and the Houston first 5 innings team total over. Leans are obviously Colorado as a big underdog. Leans are the Tampa Bay-Boston game going over. And then there's a bunch of other games that are definitely interesting where I have leans. One, and I had to wait until to see where the total came out because there was no total in the Cubs game. Obviously, there are never overnight lines at Wrigley. Is Milwaukee. On the first 5 innings. It's Nelson against Lackey. Milwaukee's been weird. Milwaukee, they don't have a terrible lineup, do they? I mean,
yeah, they're underrated.
I'm saying on paper, when you look at their lineup, you think, all right, that's not so bad, right?
It's not so bad.
Right. They play in a hitter-friendly ballpark, but did you know, Marty Ice, you might know this, or you might not, since the All-Star break, they've scored the fewest runs per game of any team in baseball, including the White Sox, including San Francisco, including San Diego,
it was San Francisco,
including all of them. Including all, it's Milwaukee, and they have a decent lineup playing in a hitter-friendly home park, but they just have.
They had a stretch where they were from a betting perspective, they were doing very well.
Yeah, that was earlier in the season when Santiago was a revelation, and they still have a lot of bats in the lineup that should be productive, but they've been slumped out for a long time, and I've kind of been waiting for them to come out of it, and it hasn't quite happened yet. So Milwaukee's an interesting.
It's a little
team.
late in the season for that.
Yeah, a little late in the season. Yeah, exactly. But I was, it's Nelson against Lackey. Nelson coming off a great start, and Lackey has been solid as well. So let me just quickly check what the total is. It's 8. So my lean on this one was going to be Milwaukee on the first 5 innings plus a half run. And that could be plus -140. U-Wager has -135, so I take the U-Wager line there. That's a little bit of a risky play, but it's just a play based on low volatility in this game. The wind's blowing in, and Nelson being likely to match Lackey or have a better start. The Milwaukee lineup makes me nervous, though. But that is definitely, for now, I'll leave it as a lean. That's a very strong lean. Milwaukee first 5 innings plus a half run at -135. Another interesting line is the Detroit and Toronto game. Detroit, of course, for a while was terrible, but their youngsters have started to produce recently. And in the KC series, they came off my auto fade list. Now they're going into Toronto as a huge underdog. Stroman's coming off an injury, probably will be okay. Buck Farmer is a big question mark. He had some decent results in the minors. In the majors, he was kind of up and down. He had a few good starts in the majors. More of his starts were bad, but you're getting a huge line here at plus 200, and I think Detroit's getting a little bit disrespected here. This is another line where it's sort of like makes you feel sick a little bit to take it. But I think that both Detroit and Toronto are out of the playoff race. And I think probably Detroit has some value here at plus 200 and maybe a little bit more so. And I can't believe I'm saying this because their bullpen has been so bad for so long. But Detroit on the second half might also have some value as well in case Buck Farmer completely S's the bed, as he has admittedly done a lot this year. Plus 130 is the second half line of Detroit there. Wow. All right, I'll add that one as an official pick.
Good. I like that.
Detroit, second half line, plus 130. Question marks with both starting pitchers. So we'll throw out the starting pitchers here, the first 5, and we'll just take Detroit at plus 130 on the second half. Again, Detroit, nothing great, but a little bit overvalued. A little bit undervalued, I think, and underrated right now. And so Detroit on the second half, plus 130 is going to be another official pick of mine for today's MLB card. Let's see what else is interesting. Okay, Marty Ice. I know you follow the Yankees pretty closely, right, Marty Ice?
I haven't this week, but
no?
Usually.
Well, we got Masahiro Tanaka making his next start at Texas.
All right.
Texas has a lineup. They got some bats. You know that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys
against the Yankees at home.
Yeah, a lot of guys on Texas who hit like 218 and have like 30 home runs and stuff. Some nice bats there. Tanaka's been doing well. Martin Perez has also been doing kind of decently. As you would expect, the Yankees are a big road favorite here, so I don't think I can take the Yankees here. I was thinking maybe about a shot with the under. Both lineups are good, but Tanaka has been very impressive getting results. I think he might do the same thing here. And Perez has also kind of sneakily been getting results. High total, of course, and it's a 10, so that's also a lean. The Yankees, Texas, under 10, that's a lean. I don't know if I'm going to have the balls to take that one, but that is definitely a lean. An interesting game and an interesting line. And another interesting game is Pittsburgh against St. Louis, because this guy, Luke Weaver, is the real deal. Might be one of the elite pitchers in baseball right now, even though he doesn't quite have the name recognition as some of the others.
Luke, not familiar.
Luke Weaver, youngster who has been dealing since he's been added to the rotation. Strong start after strong start. Getting a high line here, though, and St. Louis is not the kind of team that I like to take as a big home favorite. They're kind of like the Cleveland Indians light. They're kind of a team that right now is a little bit overvalued, I think, at home. And Trevor Williams on the other side has also been decent. So this is a game, again, where I was looking at the under and maybe more so the Pittsburgh team total unders. Let me see what the Pittsburgh – wow. Yeah. So you don't believe me that Luke Weaver is the real deal?
No, I just
who were the guys yesterday who had the team totals on the first 5 innings that were less than 2? Corey Kluber and then Clayton Kershaw, right? The Pittsburgh Pirates first 5 innings team total 1.5 plus 101. Yeah, I still think that's probably an okay bet. The Pittsburgh full game team total under is 3.5 minus 116. So this is tricky. I could take it, or you could make an argument just for the full game under, which I did bet a little bit, which is 8, and actually Pinnacle has 8.5 minus 128. A few places have that 8.5. Let me just make one quick. But the point is that betting on Luke Weaver to have a good start is often going to be a great thing to do. Man, that is just so tough. The problem is just what if Trevor Williams gets lit up? All right, that's another game with leans. I'm going to hold off on that and think about it. Another game that's interesting: Minnesota at KC. Irvin Santana against Ian Kennedy. Kennedy, of course, has been terrible this year, especially at home.
Rich, what are you talking about? Are you talking to me or Pete?
I don't know. Okay. We'll get into this in a second. We are. I
don't know what's going on.
Me? No. Me? No, I did not. Rich Banks said, I heard you call me a fag at the end of the video yesterday, real professional. No, I actually have not dropped an F-bomb in the entire show since I've been doing it.
None that I remember.
No.
I mean, you use it in the office constantly. But.
No, I do not, Marty Ice. You know that well. Marty Ice, joke there. No, I have not dropped the F-bomb, and I just because it's 2017. You can't use those words anytime anymore, Marty Ice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You cannot use the word. The F word.
You got to really make that one count.
Yes, exactly. You can't use the F word, the C word, obviously the N word, and there's a bunch of other words that you can't use.
The C word.
The C word. That was good. That was a good delivery. Marty Ice just said, what the hell is the C word, very convincingly, thinking he was going to get me, but he didn't. So I'm a little bit, I got to wake up a little earlier in the morning than that to get one over. Nice try. Good and well delivered, Marty Ice. Okay, so let's see. Let's get back to MLB. There's a lot of stuff in MLB. Minnesota and KC. Obviously, Kennedy has been terrible. Irvin Santana has been not great, but definitely still decent. Still pulling out decent starts. Started and start out. He faced Minnesota. He faced KC his last start and didn't do that well. But Minnesota is seeing Ian Kennedy for the second time in a row, and weirdly, the line has gotten bet down. So I'm assuming that someone's out from Minnesota here. That has to be the case. I can't understand why the line would be getting bet down. But Minnesota -1 or Minnesota first 5 or both are obviously very tempting here. Kennedy is definitely close to being an auto fade right now, and Minnesota, should have it. Someone's probably out for them. Let me see what the first 5 innings line is here for Minnesota. Yeah, nice. Minus 115 at Bookmaker and Bet DSI. Or taking Minnesota on the first 5 innings is very tempting. Or just taking, once again, the first 5 innings team total over, which would be right now, where is it? Let's find 2.5 minus 107. Yeah. All right, so Minnesota -1, Minnesota first 5 innings, team total over 2.5, and Minnesota on the first 5 innings money line are all very, very tempting. I'll wind up giving one of those eventually in this show. It's kind of between, the problem is that Santana, as we know, can get blown up, and if that does happen, then you'll probably want the team total over. You know what? I'll just take Minnesota on the first 5 innings money line. Let's check what that one is. Minus 115 at Bookmaker. Let me quickly check what the. At Pinnacle, it's actually minus 119. So I will take the Bookmaker line, Minnesota, first 5 innings, minus 115. That could be a little bit of a trappy thing to do there, but if it is, I'll only lose 1.15 units. So that's another pick, basically a fade of Ian Kennedy. You could easily fade him any other way you want. Minnesota team total over, first 5 innings team total over, or Minnesota -1 because Minnesota does have a nice bullpen there. So any of those would be good picks. But I will take I'll take the first 5 innings. Okay, continuing to break down, because we talk so much about MMA and everything, we're running a little late right now, but continue. There's a lot of stuff, full card, and a lot of stuff I'm liking. The other one, which is kind of an obvious play of the day, I don't know if you want to pull the trigger, but it is Arizona at home. San Diego, of course, has been a great home team this year, but on the road, very different. And Arizona is the top team in MLB in terms of home ROI. And Pat Corbin has been a stud recently. In his Marty Ice here, I love to ask you to guess things. In Pat Corbin's last 5 starts, how many earned runs do you think he's given up total in his last 5 starts?
2.
Oh, see, I
didn't know that.
Oh, really? Nice. Good guess. Excellent. Yes, 2. That's pretty impressive, right? And 36 innings, how many strikeouts do you think he's got?
36 innings, how many strikeouts? 22.
No, 33.
Wow.
So he's getting strikeouts. Wow,
that's really good.
Yes. Oh, it's no joke. I think Corbin is definitely for real here. On the other side is Jordan Lyles, obviously, capable of having a good start, but a guy who's appears to be, who is more likely not to be very hittable. And reports I've read are that Goldschmidt is back. Going to be back in the lineup tonight. So you've got the top ROI team at home with a stud starting pitcher who's white hot, and Goldschmidt coming back. So it is a high line, minus 226, 230, 240, but it's very tempting to take that and to take it, on the -1 line where you'll, reduce it down to about minus 170 or so. That's another lean. I want to pull the trigger on that one. Not sure if I'm going to do it, but I probably will before the end of this show. That's another lean. And then the Mets and Cincinnati game, another game that's interesting. Amir Garrett is coming up for Cincinnati, and he does not look reliable here at all. He was not having good results in the minors. They're bringing him up to the majors and has looked very shaky. So it's tempting here to take, the Mets first 5 innings, team total over, the Mets on the first 5 innings, and then maybe Cincinnati on the second half when the bullpens come in to cash that one. Lugo has not been great either, but definitely not as vulnerable as Garrett has been. So yeah, let me just quickly check what the Mets first 5 innings team total would be, because that's tempting to take that over. And the Mets, despite what you think about the names in their lineup, the Mets have been productive offensively. They are not the Milwaukee Brewers right now, Mark, guys. They have been productive offensively, kind of with a no-name lineup.
Sounds horrible. They're no Milwaukee Brewers.
No. Yeah, they're no Milwaukee Brewers. They have been productive offensively, and the first 5 innings team total is 2. Oh, man. The thing is that Garrett can be, when Garrett's on, 25% of the time, he is going to give you a 7-inning, 1-run start with 8 strikeouts. And, it wouldn't be a huge shock if that happened here, but he's just been very, very, very vulnerable in general. So I'm tempted to take the Mets first 5 innings team total over 2, and I'm definitely tempted to take the second half Cincinnati minus 130. It's a little bit tricky. There is a crosswind blowing at Citi Field, so maybe he'll come in and have a good start. That's another lean. So a lot of leans, a lot of very close leans today. And once again, Cleveland, after they've won like 11 in a row, whatever, still a team that has been overvalued at home. Now they're at home against Baltimore. Wade Miley has been decent recently, and Cleveland once again. It comes with a solid road, a home favorite line in the minus 150. So Baltimore, tempting to take a shot with Baltimore there. And then we have another -300 line with Washington, and shirts are going. Would you take them? Washington against Philly, shirts are -350. Would you take that? No, can't take that. Can't take it. Not going to be able to do it. Maybe at 220 I would take it, but at 330, just can't do it, even though Thompson on the other side is very, very hittable. Not going to be able to do that one. And I guess that's just about it. We've definitely nailed most of it. All right, so I'll get to some MLB comments in a second, but once again, going down the card, my picks and leans. Detroit second half, +130 is a pick. That's an official pick. And on the full game at +200, it's probably a lean as well. Let's see. Baltimore as a road dog is a lean, and the under 9 in that one is a lean. Tampa Bay and Boston over 8.5 is a very strong lean. The Mets, first 5 innings, team total over 2 -147 for now. That is a lean for sure. The Yankees and Texas game, the under 10 is definitely a lean. Milwaukee, first 5 innings plus a half run, -135 is another very strong lean. White Sox -1 is an official pick. And also the White Sox, White Sox -1 is an official pick. And the San Francisco team total under full game on that one is a lean as well. St. Louis and Pittsburgh, all kinds of leans there. The under 8.5, heavily juiced, is a lean. And Minnesota, first 5 innings, -115. I made that one an official pick. And also, the Minnesota first 5 innings, team total over, Minnesota -1. Those are both leans as well. Arizona, -1. Has to be included as a very strong lean, even though it is a high favorite. Houston -1, official pick, and the first 5 innings, team total over 2.5 is an official pick, and that one has to count as a low-hanging fruit play of the day, right? Houston, first 5 innings, team total over is a low-hanging fruit play of the day, and Colorado as a big underdog against the Dodgers counts as once again a lean, and that is a massive no balls lean for me right there. I should probably just automatically put it on as a pick, but that's a massive no balls lean for me there. So a lot of leans, a lot of borderline leans. So far, I've only given about 4 picks, I think. But all right, so let's get to some comments here. Ricky Levine saying, "Morning, Pete. Love the shirt. Yes, very hip shirt here. Very hip shirt here, and I know how to pull it off. Look at this, martinis all over the place. Very hip shirt. You know where I got this? I got this Gantro from Gantro from the guy who works at Heritage, the Lines guy. He had a fire in his house one year in New York, and I knew that he had like a terrible taste in clothing, which meant that some of it would be valuable to me. And I was like, before you throw all your shit out, can I go through your closet and take some of the clothes that I might want to keep in the future? And this was one of them, and I got it.
It's a pretty weird story.
Yeah. No, why did I tell? Normally, my videos are not that boring. That was a boring.
I'd say it was boring. No. It was weird.
Yeah, it is.
That was not boring.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Okay.
No, but that shirt is amazing, and it survived the fire.
And it survived the fire? Yes, absolutely. Steven Stucci says, Cleveland game's scaring me today. Yeah, it is a little bit scary. My leans are Baltimore as an underdog and the under in that one. And let's see. Michael Maeda says, Pete, any thoughts on Toronto first 5? Team total over 2.5. Man, that's a tough one. In general, I'm leaning under in that game. I'm leaning to the under 9, but Buck Farmer is a huge unknown quantity here. Definitely,
no, he's an absolute known quantity.
Well, and now we're getting to what's that guy? Who's the guy who said known unknowns? What the famous quote? The guy from the Bush administration. Anyway, Buck Farmer is a known unknown quantity. He had good minor league numbers, and he did have some decent major league starts when he first came up. He had a couple good starts, and then he got pounded. So the point is that it's known that, and this is, again, he's anything can happen at this point in September with a guy like that. He's clearly a youngster with some upside, So, to answer that question, no. I would not take that one, Michael Maeda, although, obviously, if someone wanted to give the opinion that they think Farmer's going to get crushed here, there's reason to believe that. What happened?
Fucking hell, Steven. No, it was the Perkins breakfast like that. That's just something I haven't thought of in years.
Mm-hmm.
You know Perkins?
Wow, here we go. Now, Ernest Huffman saying, yeah, great show as always. Give Pete a raise. That is the second person who has told me to get a raise, despite me not unsolicited comments.
Like I'm just sitting here not saying anything.
Let's get what?
Like I'm just sitting here quietly.
Oh, did you say I should get a raise? No, everyone should get. You actually are doing a great job, Marty Ice. Absolutely, you should get a raise as well. It's just people look at me and they go, "We know this guy's getting underpaid."
I mean, Jesus Christ, he's sifting through burnt down buildings for clothing people.
All right. So listen. Let me just. Michael Maeda says, I second that Pete and Marty Ice both get raises. Yes, absolutely. All right. Okay, hold on a minute. Ergo Caustic. There you go. By the way, horrible shirt. That's just like your opinion, man. Horrible shirt. Sorry. It's just your opinion, dude. I mean, I guess horrible for what? You know, is as usual, another visual presentation that would drive the chicks away, but that guys will think are funny.
So what about your date tonight?
I don't know. What should I do? Because the thing is, I want to be so prepared for college football tomorrow on the show. I want to give like 10 or 15 picks. I know I'm going to, if I sit there and crunch those numbers, late numbers with the line movement for 8 hours, I'm going to have some awesome picks on the Saturday show. I'll think about that. The jury's still out. All right, let's get to it. This show's running on long, so I want to wrap things up and finalize everything. Lou Chase Fox says, Astros are red hot. Bet them any way you like and win. In general, I agree with that, Lou Chase Fox, and especially when they're going up against a questionable starting pitcher like Jarrell Cotton. Look, Jarrell Cotton could have a good start. That would not, shock me, blow my mind, but it's highly unlikely. And there you go. All right.
That's good advice, Lou.
Yeah, and
it always works for me.
I'll just ask her, and that's the thing. Like chicks don't understand. It's like I'm like, listen, because if you don't have a job, if you don't have some money, chicks will diss you, but they don't support you when you're trying to do those things that make them like you.
When it's a Friday night, they don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah. Like if I can't tell her, listen, if I didn't, do a good job at my job, you wouldn't like me. So you have to let me do the things. And then she's like, well, do it some other night. I'm like, no, I can't do it some other night. There's a schedule. Anyway, all right. Okay, let's go. Anyway, Lou Chase Fox, I like you. All right, so let's see. Antoine Seymour, Pete, who you got? Angels, Seattle. That's a very tough game. I am off that one. Definitely my lean would be to the Angels here. Actually, it's not a tough game. I do think there's small value with the Angels as a small road underdog, and actually on the second half as well. Nolasco is a guy who, he's so frustrating. He gives up a lot of home runs, but also gets a lot of grounders and doesn't get shelled too often, although once in a while he does get shelled. Leak coming off a good start, but I'm not a buyer on Leak long-term. So, obviously I don't think there's huge value, but I do think there's small value with the Angels as an underdog at plus 114, and probably a little bit more value with the Angels on the second half. Regular viewers of this show know that I've been looking to bet on the Angels in their second halves in general. They have a strong bullpen, very strong bullpen, an elite bullpen. And now that they bolstered their lineup, I think they're a good bet in the second half. So that's actually definitely a lean for me, the Angels on the second half, minus 130. So my leans on that game would be to the Angels. Not a strong lean, but I think there's small value on both the full game and the second half. Let's see. Other comments. Under first 5 in Chicago. Fred Drums says under first 5 in Chicago, San Francisco. Okay, I don't know about that one. Matty Moore is starting, and that guy does not inspire confidence at all. I'm on the White Sox there, and I can't endorse that pick, Fred Drums. I am expecting another good start from Giolito, but Matty Moore is very, very. Ergo Caustic asking Pete, who's your bet on and auto fade pitchers in this moment? Well, at this point in the season, most of the auto fade pitchers have been faded out. You know what I mean? Like Jared Weaver and all those guys. So there's not a lot of auto fade guys that have stuck now. There are a bunch of borderline auto fade guys. One of them's going tonight, Jarrell Cotton, right? So he's one of them. Buck Farmer, no, he's not an auto fade. Buck Farmer had good minor league numbers. He's a guy who, no, definitely not.
Borderline.
Who?
He's creeping up there.
Oh, I wouldn't put him borderline either. He's got potential. He's got some good stuff. Obviously, he's not getting it done in the majors right now. And at
his
any
name also really good. Yeah. So I think that gives me an automatic negative on him.
Yeah, John Carey saying, Pete, what's your promo code for Intertops? I want to try them out. Okay, so if it's
if you want to try them out, it'd be LOSHAKFIRST.
Easy to remember.
Link up in the bottom so you can go directly.
LOSHAKFIRST, FIRST. LOSHAKFIRST. Okay.
Who's investigating? Rich, what the hell you spoke this morning?
Bobby Brown asking Pete, favorite college game. I don't know if this is my favorite game, but I definitely am liking Iowa State +3. I think they should have an advantage over Iowa here. I've given out 3 college games so far. I've given out Iowa State +3, Northwestern -3, and Indiana -3. And hopefully I will have some more picks, official picks tomorrow. And, of course, if I don't have them by the time I do the show with Big Man, if I tweet them out, which would be closer to kickoff, those will also all count. All right. Lucas Fox saying, Pistol Pete the scavenger. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'll scavenge for anything. I mean, you know, the thing is that there's no risk. And actually, that's a good you know, way to look at investing. Like, the risk that you're taking is the most important part, right? If I take one of my friend's shirts for free that was in a fire, there's zero risk for me, as opposed to, you know, going to some clothing shop and seeing something you think might be cool, spending $30, and if you're wrong, you're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't spend $30 on that.
Yeah, well, Marty Ice and I talk about this all the time. Marty Ice and I are extreme bargain hunters when it comes to clothing.
It's absolutely true.
Yes, and we are quite successful at it in general. All right, so let's see. Let me just look at some other. Okay. I'm just looking at some other.
Got on that wax today
other comments.
A little early.
Houston, Dallas Starbois saying Houston, Arizona 2-team parlay is smelling good today. Yes, look, I like Houston, and I do. I like Arizona, and you might be right there, because parlaying them, you know, will get you a, you have to risk less. You know how I feel about parlays. I've talked about it all the time, but I agree with you, Dallas Starbois. Yes, Houston, I like them, and Arizona, I like them as well. Antoine Seymour asking, Pete, you like under in the Marlins game? No. That is the total on that one I'm staying way off of. Urena and Fultonavich obviously have some live arms that Urena can get hit. Fultonavich also, you know, pitching a little bit better recently, but does seem like he's wearing down. Miami obviously has a nice lineup, but they've been slumped out in general recently, but they're still very productive. They put up a bunch of runs yesterday. I wound up late being on the over in yesterday's game myself. Maybe I should have tweeted that one out. And Atlanta has some okay bats there. So that's a total that I'm almost definitely going to be off of. If you gave me a free play on it right now as we sit here, I would take the over, actually, at the 9.5. I'm not going to bet that one, but if you gave me a free play on the total in Miami, Atlanta, right, doesn't mean it won't cash, but the under might not cash, but the under makes me very nervous, and I have to have a strong reason to like an under in Atlanta games this year. Okay, so that's your answer, Antoine Seymour. I don't like the under in the Marlins 9.5 game. That's going to be a pass for me. Okay, yes, Austin Geist saying Seth Lugo and Amir Garrett equals over. Garrett has given up 18 runs. Yes, Garrett is struggling in a major way, and Lugo isn't that much better either. That's a good point there. The total is just 9, and the first 5 innings total actually. Let me see. Where is that one? The first 5 innings total on that game. We're going a little bit long, but that's okay. We got a lot to talk about, right? It's okay if this show goes over an hour, right?
What's today? Friday?
Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap this up soon. But yes, the first 5 innings total is 5. The full game total is 9. I kind of agree with that one, Austin Geist, and of course I am leaning towards the Mets as well on the first 5 innings team total. All right. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. There's so many comments here from going back because we were talking so much about the MMA. I can't get onto the comments right now. And Neil Frank says, I'm liking the White Sox picks. Pete, very nice read. Yes, I like the White Sox. I like them a lot more, obviously, on the opening line, which was -110. If it was up around -150, I'd start to get nervous. In the -120s, I do like it. Austin Geist saying Mets over looks good. Yes. Let's see. Oh, gosh, geez. All right. So many comments. Neil Frank saying he likes Louisville -10 and West Virginia -24. I haven't looked in the West Virginia game hard enough, but I agree with you, Neil Frank. Louisville, I think, they're going to be an overvalued team at times this year. But in a situation like this, a game where they would completely screw up their season if they lose it, they're not going to be overvalued. And I think they do more likely than not come away with a double-digit win. So I agree with you on that one, Neil Frank. And I have no opinion on West Virginia as of right now, but I might by tomorrow morning or by kickoff. All right. So let's see. Let's see here. Rich. Okay. We are going to wrap it up. This has been a very long show. Let me just finally. Oh, Jesus Christ! All right. Let me just wrap up the show. All right.
What's going on, man?
What?
What are you stressing about?
I'm stressing because the show is going so long, and I like to keep
all the games.
What?
We covered all the games.
Yeah, we covered all the games, and we covered MMA extensively, and we talked about football and everything. All right, so let me just.
So what else is there to fit in?
I got problems, Marty, guys. I got issues. I'm all hyped up emotionally because it's football season and I'm digging for value game in and game out. And the KC value didn't become apparent to me until very, very late, close to kickoff. So let's just review all. Oh, yeah. And again, in CFL, I'm liking Ottawa -12. I don't know what the line is now. Liking Ottawa -12 and a little bit less Winnipeg -2, although the line movement in the Winnipeg game will be telling. Line movement in the Ottawa game will probably be not that telling. I'm liking Ottawa -12 in the in CFL. All right, so Philly, Washington, pass. Detroit, second half +130 is a pick, and I'm leaning under on that one. I do kind of think Farmer might have a decent start here, but I'm going to take Detroit on the second half as my only pick in that one. Baltimore, Cleveland, leaning Baltimore, God, and leaning the under, but I guess I'll just stick with those as leans. Tampa Bay, Boston. Look, I bet the overnight line on the over, and it moved against me. But I will have a little. Finally, for once in my life, I'll have a little bit of balls, and I'll give this one over 8. I'm going to take the Heritage line over 8 -120. Tampa Bay, Boston. Archer against Pomerantz. Both those guys showing some signs to me that they might be a little bit off right now, and hopefully at least one of them will be off enough to make it cash. Actually, no. You know what? I'll take the Pinnacle line over 8.5 +104. That'll be an official pick. Tampa Bay, Boston over 8.5 +104. Then the Cincinnati Mets game. Very, very interesting game there. Yes, Lugo and Garrett both very vulnerable. And you know what? I'll throw it on there. Mets first 5 innings, team total over 2 -145. If Garrett comes in and has a strong start, that will not be a huge surprise. But again, I think it's unlikely, more likely to not happen than it's likely to happen. So I will take Mets first 5 innings, team total over 2 -145. Lugo also pretty vulnerable. And so the first 5 innings over. Oh, God, that is so tempting. I'll hold off on it for now. No, you know what? Have some balls, man. Have some balls, man. I will give that one. The Mets and the Reds, first 5 innings over 5. I will give that one because if Garrett gets crushed, he might give up 5 himself in the first 5 innings. That is not unthinkable.
Certainly possible.
Yes. All right, I'm on it. Reds and Mets, first 5 innings over 5 +101. That's the line right now at Pinnacle. Miami, Atlanta, staying off of that one. Yankees and Texas, the under 10 is a lean, but I'll stay off of that one. Milwaukee and Chicago, Nelson against Lackey. All right, I will throw on the Milwaukee first 5 innings +0.5. +0.5 -135. That is a very, very strong lean, so I decided that I will go into it, and it's mostly predicated on Nelson. I like Nelson. I think he'll have a strong start, and should be good enough here to make that one cash. So that's another pick. Milwaukee +0.5, first 5 innings, -135. White Sox, of course, is an official pick. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, I'm going to hold off on that one. But the under 8.5 at a big favorite line is a strong lean. Minnesota first 5 innings, I took that one on the money line. Arizona -1. Have to make a decision here. You know what? I'll take it. They're so strong, Arizona. Corbin is so good.
It's finally time.
Lyles is so vulnerable. So many ways that Arizona could pull that one out. It is going to be a high line. It'll wind up being like -170 or -180. I will take Arizona -1 as an official pick. The money line part of that will be at Pinnacle -226, and the run line part of that will be also at Pinnacle -116. -116. All right. Okay. And let's see. Very, very quickly. Then Houston, obviously, Houston -1 and first 5 innings team total over our picks. Colorado, I'm going to not have the balls to give this one. I will give it just as a lean, as a huge underdog line. And then the Angels and Seattle, Angels second half and Angels on the full game are definitely both leans here. And you know what? Yeah, I'll hold off on that one. Angels on the second half and the Angels full game. Definitely leans. So that is the entire card. Those are all my official picks and leans for today's card. It's been a long show, but a great show, I think. A lot of great comments, as always, as usual. Gave my picks in MMA, which I think are pretty good. And
that fight got canceled, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I love he's my favorite fighter.
Oh,
him
BJ?
and Frankie Edgar.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really excited to watch him.
Freaking #1 pound for pound, baby, for sure. Undisputed. All right. That's it. And tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, I will, of course, do the Saturday morning college football show that we're going to be doing every Saturday morning during college football season with Jeff Nadu. Big man. Catch that tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern time.